Is there a reason you chose homeschooling versus like a public school or a private school?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're like not safe. So
It's a safety thing?
yeah, I mean, also like mentally and physically, both are not safe. You know, you can't control, like your kids are taught what the teachers know, right? So like if I wanted my kids to be taught by somebody, I would want them to be taught by someone who I look up to or I trust that is giving them the right kind of knowledge. I mean, I think that the next generation, like my kids are 3 and 6, and there's just no reason that like the teachers that are in, I'm trying to be not rude right now. So I'm just going to think this through, right?
Yeah, okay.
The teachers that are currently teaching, their skill set and their knowledge is based on the past. And our world is changing so fast, they don't have time to adapt, right? So like, let's just say for instance, on YouTube, right? Right now, if you want to get into a business, right, you're going to learn from people like Ryan, you, Alex from Aussie, these like business influencers who've had a very long track record of being successful, right? So if I want my kids to learn something, you know, now basic skills like reading and writing is simple stuff. Okay. I'm not concerned about that, but like the basic rules and principles and morals that they're going to live by, I want them to learn that from someone who I look up to or I trust. Right. And so I hired a very specific teacher to teach them those things, you know, and plus school kind of gears kids towards working 9 to 5. Right. I mean, you go to school from X amount of time to X amount of time and you have homework and like, there's just so much structure there. And in the future, 20 years from now, when they're going to be on their own, I don't think that structure is going to exist anymore.
What about the social aspect of them getting to hang out with other kids and, you know, trying to figure out where they fit in and networking and all those skills that are kind of learned at a younger age?
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
And then I ask them like, when have you ever seen kids playing anymore? They're all on their phones. None of them go out after school. Like when we were kids, we used to go on the front of the house and just skateboard and hang out and ride bikes. Yeah. You can go into any neighborhood and you'll never see that now, right? There is no social aspect of school. It's actually antisocial. Like all the kids are getting bullied online while they're at school, you know, and it's like this whole new like front, you know, and that's like the worst part about school is being around other kids, you know, because everybody has their own demons now. And now that there's so much information, like even there's an actual number. There's a real statistic for suicide among girls under 14. Like if you would have asked me that, if that was even possible, I would have said no way. But now there's a real number for that because of like of peer pressure and of all this like crazy science stuff that they're going through, you know, in their hormones and all this stuff. And during that age, right, I don't want them around those types of people because the other parents may be neglecting their children at that time, and those kids are taking it out on my, you know, children. You know, like I don't know if my kids are hanging out with the right people when they're at school. I don't know what they're doing. You know,
what about when they're like 20 and they're going off on their own? Do you think that maybe they might not be as prepared as someone else who's had those experiences?
I don't know because we don't know what the future holds. But like my kids go to gymnastics, right? I mean, I have 4 or 5 employees that all have kids that are about the same age, and every week, you know, they do a play date. Like you see my house, I have a playground. It's a kids' environment there, right? So they have their friends over 2-3 days a week. They play. There's a couple cousins that we have, you know, that are all the same age. So they're getting a lot of time with other kids, but just not a massive amount of kids, right? They're getting a lot of time with specific kids that I think are all being raised in the right setting.
Sure.
You know, so I don't know. I'm really specific with that stuff. Like, I feel like the 15 years that I was in school or whatever that is, 14 years was the worst part of my life. And all the bad decisions came from people that I knew, whether I was trying to be cool like them or I was trying to lead them or whatever it was. All those choices were all from that environment, right? And when I started to be on my own, when I turned 18 and I moved out and I did all this stuff, my life started to just go straight up. And I was very focused and I was independent and I chose my own friends, right? And I had 2 or 3, not 30, right? So it was a really different, I don't know. I'm just like, maybe I'm really weird, you know? Like, it's a tough conversation to have.
It's easy for me to say without kids.